Okay, so in today's lesson we're looking at multiplying two expressions. So my first example here is x plus 1 multiplied by x plus 2. And we're going to follow the same method as we have done throughout. So I am going to write top and side, or side and top, whichever. I'm going to do my box multiplication. So along this top here I am going to write x, as that's the first part of my expression. And then I'm going to write plus 1 because this has two parts to it. Likewise, on the side part, it also has two parts, a variable and a constant. And so along the side here, I will have x and I will have plus 2. Okay, so I'm going to follow the same method as I've done throughout, and I'm going to be using my cross multiplication to help fill in my boxes. So my first one, this box here, is x multiplied by x. And x multiplied by x gives me x squared, or 1x squared. The next one I'm going to fill out is going to be this one here, and this is x multiplied by 1. So you can see where I'm drawing your attention to, x multiplied by 1, and that gives me 1x, or just x on its own, and that's a plus. Alright, I'm now moving on to the further part here, and I have 2 multiplied by x, which gives me 2x. And lastly, I have 2 multiplied by 1, which gives me plus 2. Okay, so I'm now going to bring my answer together and see if I can simplify. So I'm going to bring my answer together now. And it is x squared plus x plus 2x plus 2. And I'm going to ask myself, can I group this answer? And I will notice that I have two things the same. I have a 1x and a 2x, and I can bring them together. And 1x and 2x will give me 3x. And so my answer will be x squared plus 3x plus 2, because obviously I can't bring anything else together here. And when we're writing the answer, we always try and put the variable with the highest power, or the letter with the highest power at the start. So you can see here we've got x squared, and as I spoke about before, this is actually 3x to the power of 1, but we don't write the 1, plus 2. So we always try and put the highest power first, followed by the x, followed by the number. Okay, so we're in example 2, and as we know, algebra doesn't just consist of x and y's, it can be any unknown. So in this expression, m plus 7 multiplied by m plus 1. So again, I can do my same method, top and side, and I lay it out correctly. So I have along the top, I have an m, and the second part is a plus 7, and along the side, I have an m, and the second part is a 1, or plus 1. I'll just colour this in here. Okay, so I'm going to do my multiplication again. So this box here is going to consist of m multiplied by m, which is going to give me m squared. The next one is m multiplied by 7, which is going to give me 7m. The next box here is m multiplied by 1, which is going to give me just 1m, or m. And then the last box here is 1 multiplied by 7, which is going to give me 7. And all of these are pluses. Okay, we were dealing with no minus signs. So I'm going to follow my step again, and I'm going to simplify it and group it together. So my answer was m squared plus 7m plus m plus 7. And I notice that I can bring the m's together. So my answer is m squared plus 8m plus 7. Okay, we're going to deal with a little harder one here, in the sense that we're dealing with 2a plus 2 multiplied by a plus 1. So again, we'll go top and side and lay it out correctly. So along the top I have 2a, and in the second part I have plus 2. And along the side here I have an a plus 1. And I cross multiply as so. A multiplied by 2a is going to give me, well, this is, remember, 1a, and 1 times 2 is 2. And the a times a is going to give me a squared. Here I have a times plus 2, which is going to give me plus 2a. in the next box here, I have 1 times 2a, and 1 times 2a is just going to give me 2a. Again, these are all plus. And my last one here is just 1 multiplied by 2. Okay, 1 multiplied by 2, that's going to give me plus 2. Again, bring my answer together. So it is 2a squared plus 2a plus 2a plus 2. And I notice I can group a little bit just with this section here. And it becomes 2a squared plus 2a, and 2a is 4a plus 2. And so I've multiplied this out to give me a much simpler version, 2a squared plus 4a plus 2. Now, as you move on in the activities, you may come across one of these, which is x plus 1 squared. Well, when we met squared before, if I said to you along the side here, what was 5 squared? Well, that really means 5 multiplied by 5. It means multiplied by itself twice. And if we had an x squared, that would mean x multiplied by x. And I'm just using the bracket notation here so that we don't get mixed up with the actual letter. So what does x plus 1 squared mean? Well, what it really means is x plus 1 multiplied by x plus 1. It means multiplied by itself. And so now that we've written it in this format, it's much easier to figure out how we multiply it out. We write top and side, and we do our box multiplication. So along the top here I have x plus 1, and along the side here I have x plus 1. And I take my time and I multiply correctly. X multiplied by x gives me x squared. X multiplied by 1 gives me 1x. 1 multiplied by x gives me 1x. And I can write it as x or 1x, whichever you're more comfortable with. And then the last one is 1 multiplied by 1 gives me just plus 1. So I've done all the hard work, I've multiplied. I'm just going to bring my answer together. So it is x squared plus 1x plus 1x plus 1. And these two are the same. We can group them together. And so my final answer is x squared plus 2x plus 1. So just remember, if you come across something squared, it really just means multiply it by itself twice. Okay, example 5, x minus 1 multiplied by x plus 3. And this is the first time that we've come across a minus. So remember our rules with minuses and multiplication. A minus multiplied by a minus always gives me a plus. A minus multiplied by a plus always gives me a minus. A plus by a minus always gives me a minus. And a plus multiplied by a plus gives me a plus. So we try and remember, if they are the same, you'll get a positive. That should be a plus there. And if they are different, you will get a negative. So a minus by a plus is a negative and a plus by a minus is a negative. So these are rules that we need to be very clear on when it comes to multiplying. So we lay it out as we normally do, top and side. Along the top here I have x minus 1, and along the side here I have x plus 3, and we will multiply. An x multiplied by an x gives me x squared. An x multiplied by a minus 1, well, what sign is in front of this x? It's a positive. Remember, if there's no sign, it means a positive. So a positive by a negative, a plus by a minus, gives me a minus, and I will get minus 1x or minus x. Now I have plus 3 by plus x, which will give me just 3x. And then here I have plus 3 multiplied by minus 1, and a plus by a minus gives me a minus, and 3 ones are 3. So we bring our answer together, and it is x squared minus x plus 3x minus 3. Simplify it if we can, and we can see here we have a minus x, which is the same as writing minus 1x. So we have a minus 1x and a plus 3x. So minus 1 plus 3, remember we're not multiplying here, we're just doing adding and subtracting. So minus 1 plus 3 will give me plus 2x. And I have an x squared and a minus 3. And so my final answer is x squared plus 2x minus 3. So take your time with the negative ones because these rules will be used. Okay, so a quick learning check then before you go on to the next activity. The first one is x plus 1 multiplied by x plus 3. And the second one is like example 4, x plus 11 all to be squared.